So the Nigerian Creative Industries Development Bill is an executive bill slated to serve as part of Mr. President's legacy to provide an enabling environment for our creative and enterprising youth. It's a whole of government, whole of nation approach to championing a collaboration between the Ministry of Information and Culture, the Office of the Chief of Staff to the President, and industry stakeholders. The bill aims to bridge the gap between the Nigerian creative industries and government to build a vibrant, profitable, rapidly growing creative sector by transforming the creative space through a legal, regulatory, and institutional framework with an executable action plan. This project has been in planning for over 2 years now and has now reached the validation phase where a physical meeting of ministries, departments, and agencies of government in conjunction with industry stakeholders will sit to review the draft bill. Therefore, your presence at this event is imperative to the success of and is pivotal to the collaborative mission of this whole process. I'll say the bill is for your children, your children's children, that we may bequeath to them a much more prosperous and fulfilling future.
We as the creative industry have a responsibility. As a good citizen, as a good corporate citizen, we have to not only be at the table, but be willing to bring our resources to the table, right? So oftentimes, it's really truthfully some of the stuff that we already have in our hand. As a media, it's very important that we allocate time, broadcast space, airtime to communicating critical issues. And those including exposing some of the wonderful things that government are doing, changing the narrative about the connection between the creative industry and government. So I've talked on a number of fronts, but overall, the connection, the mutual benefit, the symbiotic relationship between the creative industry and all arms of government must be realized to truly move us forward as a nation, as an industry, as a sector, and today's reading hopefully is a wonderful step towards that.
And that is what quietly this bill is also talking to. We are later on today about to sign an agreement with a company, an agency called Casa Africa in Spain, where they have agreed to run a competition every year in the creative industry to identify 2 individuals who they will take back to go and play all the festivals in Spain. And I think 2 people a year from Nigeria will blow in Europe based on that. The UNWTO has agreed to establish a tourism academy for training in Lagos. There's also going to be a UNWTO Festival of Gastronomy in Lagos. This may seem rather tourism-related issues, but a lot of the benefits of tourism is from the creative industry. And the sooner we realize that our collaboration means more to both of us than our competition, the better for us all. We have a couple of festivals coming up in Germany, Brussels, and Greece. One thing I would like to say that I am not comfortable with in this bill is the fact that the policy agencies of government are the agencies or are the directors of the board of this parastatum that you're about to create. You need the implementing agencies of government on your board, not the policy agencies of government. Or else, well, you will get the same experience I have had. And secondly, I think you should consult a little more widely than the consultation that has been done, especially with the circulation of letters, and I see the attendance of the relevant stakeholders here. I think you need to just take bits and pieces from quite a few more people before you go along.
So for me, a legal frame committee will be set up to look at this document. And I'd like to tell the organizers quickly that some of the items in those documents are infringing on some parastatals that are already set up by government, by law. So we'll be going back and front and be going here and there. I like to say it also that tourism is to market and promote the brand identity developed by culture of a creative Nigeria. Nigeria is not two, it's only one. So when we set up that legal framework, we'll now come to look at it and get it. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as at 1991, there were only 4-story buildings in Dubai. Dubai had oil, Nigeria had oil. Dubai used their own oil to develop what I call cultural and tourism policies. And today, Dubai is ruling the whole world. So I am of the strong opinion that we should put our heads together, see what can unite Nigeria, because we don't have two Nigerians, it's only one. For me, the National Endowment Fund, Creative Endowment Fund is there, set up by law. We've not been able to activate it to get what we needed to have picked out of it. So for me, I've listened to every speaker. I've looked at the document. We will do a formal report to the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, who will be guided on what next to be done with this document.
This sector has come this far, almost in spite of government. Don't bring too much government into this sector. You risk, losing a lot of what we have gained so far. I have maintained when we have had policy debates in government around this subject, my position consistently has been this sector requires the support of government. But one of the biggest areas it requires the support of government is protection of intellectual capital. Today we have agencies of government whose job it is to do that. They're not doing that. Creating another commission isn't going to change that.
Endowment fund is a very critical and crucial part of this space, but like the DG would rightly admit, we haven't seen much come out of that. Perhaps there will now be a workaround how that can transform into something more elaborate and be accessible to the practitioners who require that funding. Dr. Akabweze also mentioned the CBN funding as well. You see, these things exist in silos, but the question is the ecosystem enjoying it at the end of the day? And that is why we looked at a couple of things and considered.
Join, please, thank you. Deputy Director for MBC, the head of legal for NTDC. Please, madam, can you also come and join?